Hello, this is Thursday, July 11th, 2019. It's the 192nd day of the year with 173 days remaining. This is Jake from Radio Underland, and this is the show where we go into the boring news. If you're looking for our other show, the more exciting show where we do things like the dating show, Drinking Games, Am I the Asshole, all the funny stuff, please check that out. Our last episode is from this last Tuesday. It was a live show, and the title of that show is called Mermaids in Toon Town. So if you're looking for the more comedic, entertaining show, make sure you check out that show. But this show here is just the daily, dry, boring news. And with that being said, here we go with today's news for Thursday, July 11th. Support for abortion has hit a 24-year high. 60% say that it should be allowed in most or all cases. 36% say it should never be allowed, according to a Washington Post ABC News poll. A 1-kilometer asteroid that orbits the sun every 151 days has been found, and it is believed to have the shortest orbit of any asteroid ever located. Only 20 asteroids that orbit the sun have ever been found with orbits that fall between the Earth and the sun, called the Atira zone. Why that's important, I don't know, but it's in the news. Now, have you ever been so pissed off at the DMV that you just wanted to whip out your gun and fire off a couple shots? Well, there's a story in the news that pertains to that. A 34-year-old Kansas City woman has been charged for firing her handgun while waiting in the line at the DMV. Can you really blame her? She grew frustrated after being made to wait too long, and a clerk asking her to wait her turn. That's when she fired a shot into the ground. Bystanders restrained her until the police arrived. A 57-year-old Texas man is doggone, and when I say doggone, this is what I mean. A 57-year-old Texas man was reported missing in May. Investigators struggled to enter the property where he lived, which was guarded by 18 aggressive dogs. It was only after the dogs were successfully contained by authorities a few weeks later that a real investigation could begin. After monitoring the dogs in custody, fragments of the man's clothing were found in the dog's droppings, and bone fragments matching the man's DNA were found on the property just a few days ago. Authorities have concluded he was eaten by his own pack of dogs. So, Cesar Millan, if you're out there, better watch yourself, man. Those dogs can get out of control. It is hot in Alaska. A temperature of 91 degrees was recorded for the first time in recorded history. But the meteorologists say the thermometer that logged the temps has had technical difficulties in the past and want to corroborate the record before officially declaring it. Now, this is an odd story. I don't know why anybody would want to break into the Queen's bedroom and watch her sleep. But reality is this is, I believe, the second time that this has happened. What happened was a 22-year-old man managed to scale a fence protecting Buckingham Palace and gained access to the private quarters of the Queen, who was asleep at the time. He was apprehended after 4 minutes. Officials are investigating how the man was able to pull off the intrusion. Almost 37 years to the day Michael Fagan broke into the Queen's quarters and had an encounter with the Queen. In financial news, the S&P 500 has broken 3,000 points for the first time, but closed just shy of that mark on Wednesday. NASDAQ also closed at a record high, 8,202 points. On the day, Amazon closed at over $2,000 a share for the first time. The NPR reports that 30 mosquito devices have been installed at Philadelphia area parks to deter younger hooligans and vandals. The device emits a high-frequency pitch only heard by those approximately 13 to 25 years old. Those who are older have lost the ear cells that would be able to detect that kind of sound. So what they're doing is they're putting these speakers out in the park that they turn on at night that emits this high-frequency sound that only idiots can hear. I don't know. Is that fair? I don't know. Whatever it is, but 13 to 25-year-olds, yeah, you're going to get a buzz if you go to a Philadelphia park. Now, this is interesting, and I don't know why, but veterinarians have a high suicide rate. The suicide rate among veterinarians is shockingly high compared to the general population. Male vets are 2.1 times more likely to take their own lives. Women in the profession are 3.5 times as high, according to the Oregon Live. 98% of veterinarians with psychological stress report depression. 88% report burnout, and 83% report anxiety. Each is a much more significant problem for veterinarians under 45 years of age. Richard Branson's company, Virgin Orbit, successfully completed a drop test of its rocket launch system. When the system is fully operational, a rocket will be dropped from a Boeing 757, then fire rockets to take off into space. But for a start, the rocket was successfully released from the plane. Brass at the company call it a huge success. Gretchen Rossi, who's 40 years old, has given birth. The former Real Housewives of Orange County welcomed her first child, a baby girl, with Slade Smiley. The couple named her Skylar Gray. Skylar Gray. That sounds, is that a porn star actress name or something like that? Sounds familiar. I don't know. NFL star Christian McCaffrey and model Olivia Culpo appear to be dating. While nothing has been made official, the two were spotted holding hands in Mexico, confirming what everyone has suspected. Now let's get to the swamp that is the political biodome of our society. Labor Secretary Alex Acosta went on TV Wednesday to defend his role in the 2008 plea deal with Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein, a Florida billionaire facing child molestation and sex trafficking charges, allegedly got off easy a decade ago when the then U.S. Attorney Acosta struck a deal allowing him to avoid federal prison. Acosta said, simply put, the Palm Beach State Attorney's Office was ready to let Epstein walk free with no jail time, he said, but his office secured 13 months in a county jail and forced Epstein to register as a sexual offender, according to Acosta. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is furious that the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has given her too much work. AOC says, I was assigned to some of the busiest committees and 4 subcommittees. AOC whined in a recent interview. While other reps would be happy to be given so much responsibility so early on, the New York Socialist claims it's because Pelosi wants to bury her with work. Instead, AOC touted how many Twitter followers she and her 3 fellow ultra-progressive House friends have. AOC said, sometimes I wonder if they're trying to keep me busy. That's what AOC told WYNC News. It's the latest flare-up between AOC and progressive allies Ilhan Omar, Rashid Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, and against their foe, Speaker Pelosi. On Wednesday, Pelosi said she has no regrets about criticizing the grandstanding squad, saying they might have plenty of Twitter followers, but that only translates into 4 votes in the House. When Pelosi was asked if she regrets criticizing the errant 4, Pelosi said, regrets is not what I do. You know, it's kind of funny that Pelosi is calling out these 4 for grandstanding when, isn't Pelosi the biggest grandstander of them all? I don't know. Things that make you go, Senators are fretting about an impeding vote to raise the debt ceiling. Again, the vote would come earlier than expected because the U.S. is burning through so much more cash than expected. Legislators were hoping to put the vote off until the fall when they're back in session and could bury the vote along with other legislation. The government's ability to borrow more money ends in mid-September. Meanwhile, attention is turning, finally, to the rate of spending by the federal government. One federal agency has now crossed the dubious line of spending more than $100 billion each and every month. And no, it's not the Department of Defense. It's the Department of Health and Human Services. Batten down the hatches, though. That number will look like a joke if Medicare for All ever becomes a reality. On that note, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says a debt limit vote is possible before the chamber's August recess. While she claims Republicans are willing to default on the full faith and credit of the United States, she's willing to take the big spending step. In the pissing contest in the Gulf, the Iran-U.S. saber rattling is rattling other nations. A British battleship has been assigned to guard tanker traffic in the Persian Gulf following an Iranian threat to seize the vessel. It's not an official escort, but provides simply an increased level of monitoring. British news sources report it's probably wise considering the bombing of some 5 tankers, allegedly by the Iranians, and their admission that they shot down a U.S. drone. The Justice Department is moving to stop a pair of Robert Mueller's team of investigators from testifying behind closed doors. The Department of Justice, the DOJ, opposes the pair from appearing before the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees and have instructed them not to appear. Reasons are not exactly known, but they could provide new information prior to Mueller's own appearance next week. The British ambassador to the United States. Remember the guy that we were talking about a week ago that was talking shit about President Trump in confidential emails and somehow they got leaked? Well, that British ambassador to the United States is toast. After leaked memos written by the UK ambassador saying that President Trump is inept, insecure, and incompetent, and branded his White House as uniquely dysfunctional, Sir Tim DeRoche has resigned his £185,000 a year job, and the British police are investigating the leaking of the memos, which were supposed to be secure. Friends of DeRoche claimed the ambassador finally decided to throw in the towel and quit when watching a British TV debate, where the up for Prime Minister aspiring Boris Johnson refused to say whether he would keep Sir Kim in his post if he becomes Prime Minister. Cars made at Mexican factories streamed across the border at a record pace in the first half of 2019. The 1.37 million vehicles compose more than 16.3% of the U.S. auto market. Last year, Mexican-made cars made up 15% of the total American auto market. Bernie Sanders is facing an uphill slog. He's trying to convince conventional liberals to support his 2020 campaign. The problem is that there are so many other choices, as opposed to 2016, when the only alternative to the senator was crooked Hillary Clinton. Elizabeth Warren, who is just about as far to the left as Sanders, raised $1 million more than Sanders during the second quarter. And she did it without holding swanky high-dollar fundraisers, a big plus among progressive populists. Sanders held the anti-establishment populist socialist nut lane to himself in the last go-around. This time, he's got some competition. President Trump has taken a victory lap today after a 3-judge federal appeals court panel tossed out a lawsuit alleging he accepted foreign money via the Trump Organization's Washington, D.C. hotel. The lawsuit was filed by Democrats, of course, who insisted that foreign diplomats staying at the Trump International Hotel amounted to taking foreign money. The judges, all appointed by Republicans, threw the suit out, saying the plaintiffs had no legal ground on which to stand. If you would rather ignore what's going on in this world and just sit and veg out on your couch with your bag of Flaming Hot Cheetos doused in nacho cheese from your local 7-Eleven, here's what's on TV tonight. Love Island at 7 p.m. on CBS. Holy Moly, 7 p.m. on ABC. Master Chef is on Fox. Big Brother, CBS. Family Food Fight on ABC. Hollywood Game Night on NBC. Spin the Wheel on Fox. Elementary on CBS. And Reef Break on ABC. Amber Portwood's boyfriend, Andrew Glennon, is seeking custody of their 1-year-old son, whose name is James. According to E! News, Andrew filed for a petition for an emergency hearing regarding the paternity and custody of the child. And this is just days after Amber was arrested for allegedly assaulting him. Meanwhile, the teen mom star has been charged with 3 felonies that include domestic battery, criminal recklessness, and assault with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon in question was a machete. Gavin Rossdale is in the news because he has had an unwanted visitor show up at his Los Angeles home twice in less than 24 hours. Law enforcement told TMZ a woman showed up at the rocker's home around midnight, rang the doorbell, and started talking gibberish about the Illuminati. Later that afternoon, she came back and cornered Gavin as he was backing out of his driveway. He bolted, leaving the woman in his driveway, and called the cops. Los Angeles Angel, which is the stupidest name ever, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, Mike Trout, honored Tyler Skaggs during the All-Star game on Tuesday, sporting the late pitcher's number 45 jersey. Tyler tragically died last week in his team's hotel room in Texas. Details surrounding his death are still unclear. Lady Gaga is launching a beauty line. The 33-year-old is joining the makeup world with an upcoming release of her line, Haas Laboratories. Gaga shared a sneak peek of the new line on her social media, showing bold lipstick and blush colors. The line will officially hit the market in September, but is available for pre-order on July 15th. Matt Lauer and Annette Roque are soon to be divorced. Annette filed docs on Tuesday in New York, and according to the records, Matt's not contesting. Last month, the couple hammered out a settlement that has her keeping $20 million in assets. The couple split back in 2017 after Matt was fired from the Today Show over a slew of sexual harassment allegations at NBC. Michelle Obama shared a heartfelt tribute to the late Disney star Cameron Boyce. The former First Lady shared a picture of her and Cameron taken during one of his visits to the White House. She captioned it, "I was lucky enough to have a few moments with him on the set, at the White House, and on a service project. Enough time to recognize that not only did he have an incredible talent, but also an incredible heart." A petition, because everybody, all these entitled millennials think a petition will actually do something. A petition has started by those demanding the release of A$AP Rocky from a Swedish prison. It has already hit 130,000 signatures. Prominent figures that have signed the petition are Travis Scott, Shawn Mendes, Tyler the Creator, and G-Eazy. They've all signed in support that the rapper was arrested earlier this month following a brawl in the street. Just let A$AP go. Even if he did something illegal and even if he possibly assaulted somebody in a street brawl, we have a petition, so you need to let him go. The petitions mean everything. Beth Chapman, her upcoming memorial service is in Colorado and is being spearheaded by Facts of Life and Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kim Fields. According to sources close to Beth's family, although the two women never met in person, they attended the same church. Kim said she took on the high-profile event because she felt like God was calling her to help people in mourning. Thousands are expected to attend the event and say goodbye to the Dog the Bounty Hunter star. Who's the highest-paid entertainer out there? Well, I'll give you a guess. Let me pause for a second as you take your guess. But I'll tell you who the answer is. The answer is Taylor Swift. She is the highest paid celebrity of the past year, raking in $185 million. Forbes just dropped its Celebrity 100 list on Wednesday, and Taylor topped the chart with the biggest earnings of her career. This was her second time topping the chart. The last time was in 2016. How do you know you have too much money to burn? I'll tell you when. When you have to fly somebody in from Europe to repair the scuffs on your floor, that's when you have too much money to burn. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian recently had to fly repair people in from Europe to fix the Belgian flooring in their $60 million mansion. The Keeping Up with the Kardashian stars' expensive taste has created extra work as they have to pay a special company to fly to the U.S. to smooth out any scuffs the flooring may get. Kim takes neither the credit nor the blame for the extra work, saying that it's Kanye's attention to detail because he keeps attention like this like nobody else. So it's Kanye flying in repair guys to wax the floor from Europe. That is just insane. Meghan Markle stepped out with 2-month-old Archie to cheer on Prince Harry and Prince William as they competed in the King Power Royal Charity Polo Day. Kate Middleton, along with her 3 kids, also attended the event. The outing was the first time the newest royal has been seen in public with his cousins. Today is National Blueberry Muffin Day, National World Population Day, National Cheer Up the Lonely Day, National Rainier Cherry Day, National All-American Pet Photo Day, National Mojito Day, and National 7-Eleven Day. And nobody gives a crap about any of them. And this has been the Daily News. The boring Daily News. If you'd like to check out a regular show, tune in on Tuesday nights live on Facebook, Radio Underland, where we do the full show. Not making an official announcement, but it looks like our guest next Tuesday will be Kim Ruff, which is a libertarian presidential candidate for 2020. It is the Kim and Phillips ticket for the 2020 election. Kim Ruff, an outspoken libertarian candidate. She's been on Judge Napolitano, Fox News, etc. And it will be very interesting. And it looks like we're going to get her, but I'm not making the announcement officially because I don't want to, scare anybody off. But that looks like who's going to be on the show this next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like, subscribe to our show, follow us, and stay tuned. I'll be back again. You guys have a good one. Bye-bye.